Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast, episode number 76. I'm here with my guys, Next Shift Randy, Nikki Steve, and Blaze Radio. How's everyone doing?
Good. 76, so I can start out with some 76er news, right?
Yeah, yes.
Good to see you. I am on location once again, Grand Street Park behind me. All the kids are playing. Just kicked off the games here at 5 o'clock. This is the third night, so I figured I'd stop by. It is blazing, pun intended. It's 90 degrees here. It's so hot.
Oh,
But I
this
think other
environment, air conditioning.
someone else might be blazing too here today. So let me kick us off by dispelling two 76er rumors right off the bat, okay?
Yep.
All right. Number one,
Yep.
Joel Embiid sitting next to Paul George on the panel on TV was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Here's the whole story. For those that don't know, you may have seen, I watched a little bit of ESPN. Paul George was supposed to be on the panel. He was there for a reason. They saw Embiid at the arena minutes before they started and asked him to come on the panel. So those out there, conspiracy theories that are saying, oh, well, he's coming because they were both on the show. It was happenstance that Embiid was in the building. They asked him to be on the show, and he did. Now, at the same time, does Embiid want Paul George? It sure seems like it. Is he one of the top targets for them? It does seem like it. But for those that are saying it was planned, it's fixed, he's already going to be there, slow your roll. Number two, the picture of the 76ers at lunch, the managers, the bosses, and supposedly LeBron James. That's not LeBron James. It's Elton Brand, people. It's already been dispelled. WIP Radio dispelled it. Everyone, a bunch of other places in Philadelphia have already said that is not LeBron James. Otherwise, that's obvious tampering.
That is tampering, yeah.
Yeah, it's Elton Brand. For those out there who thought that was LeBron and it's a done deal, he must be coming. Number one, it would be tampering. Number two, that was Elton Brand. So slow your roll once again. That's our 76ers news here for episode number 76 of the Pick and Roll Podcast. Thank you.
That's the Flash with Blaze McCoy.
Clip that minute.
And that's an unpopular opinion.
Hey, shout out to MIG.
It is up, man. You're a Nuggets fan. If you can't tell, yep. What is up, man? Thank you for coming to the channel. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Really appreciate you.
I was hoping there was going to be a lot more people here at the park today, but there is a Juneteenth celebration downtown. They're having a big festival, so happy Juneteenth to everybody as well today. And I'm just glad to be here to talk about some hoop.
You mean Juneteenth?
Not 13th, no, Juneteenth. Yeah, there's a big party downtown.
Yeah, I know. It's inside joke. But
yeah, someone misspelled it. Someone misspelled it in our chat, so we're gonna clown on him for misspelling it in the chat.
Yeah, but yeah, let's just get it started with Monty Williams getting fired by the Detroit Pistons. I'm gonna start with Randy, man. How do you feel about this?
Obviously the Pistons brass, the head office, the owners are willing to eat a bunch of money because that's $65 million. That's a lot to eat for nothing. So, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. Obviously, he turned down the Lakers job back when Frank Vogel took them to the championship in the bubble, and then the rest was all history. But he's going to be a hot commodity. Somebody's going to want to sign him. Whether or not he signs for pennies on the dollar, we'll soon find out. But I was shocked though. I was shocked they let him go.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked. It was just like I thought it was going to happen next year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I was shocked it was 1 year. That's what I'm shocked about. I'm shocked it was just 1 year, you know. And the team had injuries. It wasn't like they weren't going through anything.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? Yeah. Translation: Cade Cunningham. I was just about to say that. Thank you, Steven. Cade Cunningham did not like Monty Williams. So maybe that's it.
That kind of rubs me the wrong way because it's like, you know, players got to learn to play uncomfortable. You know, you may not like the coach, but he might have a system that works perfectly for you, but it involves you playing a certain way that maybe you feel uncomfortable. Well, guess what? There's other players on the team that are going to be playing uncomfortable too, but in the end, it's a team game, and our end goal is to win a chip. So it's like when I hear stuff like that, oh, Cade didn't like Monty, or so and so didn't like the head coach. It's like, okay, so is it soft mentality, or is there something more to it?
Who knows, man? Who knows? Nikki, how do you feel about this, man? About Monty Williams?
It's hard to say because we don't know for sure what was going on. On one hand, yeah, the Pistons were a train wreck. Monty Williams, we thought last year around this time, when he got hired, it was going to be a good hire. And the Pistons didn't show anything to improve. And granted, it was his first year. We weren't expecting them to make a huge run, but still, even for his first year, they underachieved. So, granted, he did a poor job, but at the same time, is it true that Cade Cunningham not getting along with Monty Williams played a role in it? Because this has been a problem all throughout the league. We saw it. It happened in Milwaukee. That's what led to the midseason switch. We've seen it with LeBron all the time. It's like, at some point, the players cannot run the show everywhere they go.
Exactly.
Like, why do you want to be it's always makes you wonder, why would you even want to be a coach in the NBA? It's like, if you're Coach Hurley at UConn, I don't blame him for staying there. Why would you want to come to the NBA where the players basically run the show and they can just say whatever they want to about the coaches and they can be dismissed? It's like, and all this mentality, this is team killer right here. Because all it does is give the players all the power, and ultimately it's going to be a repeating cycle. So it's one coach in, one coach out, one coach in, one coach out, one coach in, one coach out, and the team remains in the same place with the stars trying to call the shots, and the stars going to wonder why they can't win anything.
Yep. And Blaze, how do you feel about this?
First of all, thank you. You read my mind, Mitch, for moving me up. Since Randy doesn't have a cam, you're covering me up on all the comments, so thank you. I might sound a little conceited, but thank you for that. Number two, let me play devil's advocate here. Any report that we get that the players are making decisions for the coaching staff is just a report. We don't know. Sure, it seems like it, especially with LeBron and stuff, and that's the news that's put out there. But whoever posted that, where's your source? Who told you that Cade was unhappy with Monty? Was it an interview with Cade? Did Cade Cunningham actually say he didn't like that coach? We don't know. This is all speculation. You know, saying that the players run the coaches, until you're in a coaching meeting, you can't judge that. You can't say that. Now, do the main players have some influence? Sure. But to say that the players are picking the coaches, you guys are taking what is put out in the media as fact when we don't know for sure. So that has to be said. We don't know. There's never been, players aren't going to come out and say, I hated this coach, so we got him fired. Number one, they're not allowed to say that. But we don't know. We can't say that players are running the teams. We don't have the actual facts to prove that. It's all speculation on what people think and what people are reporting. You know, so you got to look at both sides of the coin. I understand why a lot of people think that because of reports and because of what we've seen, but it's the media putting it out there. It's not the players or the coaches saying that a player was unhappy, so we switched to coach. Now, does that never happen? No, I'm not saying it never happens, but to say that the main players on all the teams or most of the teams are picking who the coaches are, that's ridiculous, guys. You got to think about it from a business standpoint. There are not just one person making these decisions. Your GMs, your owners, your coaches, and they have advisors too that are helping them. So it may seem like one way or the other, but we don't know for sure. So can you say it seems like that the players are doing it? Yes, but we can't sit here and say for a fact Cade Cunningham hated that coach, so he's gone. We can't do that. That's misreporting news, in my opinion.
Furthermore, does Cade Cunningham really have power like a LeBron or even a Giannis?
Yeah, that's a good point, too. I mean, I was just going to say that. Is Cade really that powerful already? I mean, you're just blowing stories out of proportion, and some schmuck will post it on Twitter or some reporter will post it on YouTube or do a video. Doesn't mean it's true, guys.
You mean the third chief?
Yeah, we got him for all sports. But like I said, I'm playing both sides of the coin here because it looks that way. And when it looks that way, people think it's true. But we don't have facts like that. We never will because players can't say that. Coaches can't say that. That's between the big upper executives in these teams. And just, think about corporations, how they make decisions too. It's a little different, but the managers, the coaches, the owners, they're making the decision, guys. Come on, let's be real. A player may say, hey, I might want this coach or favor this one, but the decision's not theirs, even though it seems like perception's reality is what people say.
The big boys in corporate make the real decisions, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. And here's actually one thing too, right? Maybe Monty Williams is not good at being a coach with a team that's starting to like do a rebuild. Maybe he's just a coach that's already that with the team about to go to the finals, like the Suns. Maybe that's like his MO. I don't know. He was a Sixers assistant coach.
Yeah, before the show, that's why I said to Mitch too. I'm like, hey, if it doesn't really surprise me, because if they're going to rebuild, why not get a new coaching philosophy and start fresh with a new coach? You know, maybe like you're saying, maybe his system doesn't work with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like my guy, unpopular opinion, nah, bro, they really do. It's too much. If this was a court case, it would be a shit ton of a lot of evidence.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, MYG. That is a fact.
Yep, I agree. Thank you, Arku, for agreeing with my opinion. And shout out to everyone in the chat who believes in Joe Hendry. Shout out to you.
I do want to say, though, in the situation with the Milwaukee Bucks when Adrian Griffin had the team sitting 30-13, and then all of a sudden he shipped out because a quote-unquote wasn't getting along with teammates. It's like 30 and 13.
Yeah, but who said that? How do you know? I mean, I get it. It was one that sticks out that could be definitely a problem with the team, but we're just hearing that from the media. I mean, did those guys say that? Who said that? You know, I don't know.
Media.
I just don't like to say things are a fact when it's just reported that, you know, this player, that coach didn't get along.
With Adrian Griffin, because it's like, wait a minute, you guys were at the top of the East. Why all of a sudden is he being fired? I feel like something had to be going on.
Yeah. Something was, and we're never going to know. And that's just, you know, something we got to deal with as a fan. They're going to keep things in the dark when it comes to business.
We'll know one day when there's a 30 for 30. We'll know.
Yeah, there you go.
In the NBA long enough to have that many excuses.
Yep.
When it's too obvious, it's easy to correlate and put things to where you think that it might fit. So for us as fans, we sit there and go, a team's 30-13. A team like my team, the Raptors, would have loved to have that spot sitting there, and then a guy gets shipped out, brought in for a guy who's underachieved mostly in his career. It kind of made you scratch your head going, you had the commodity, you kicked it to the curb, and you brought in something that you thought it could rejuvenate the team, but never really did.
And if something happened behind the scenes that would be detrimental to that organization, they're not going to broadcast it.
No.
You know, so yeah, with the team doing that well, and all of a sudden they got to get rid of their coach, maybe something did happen behind the scenes. You know, people have fallouts with their bosses all the time. Maybe he had a fallout with the GM or the owner, and he had to go.
The thing we know is Ema Okafor, which that's a whole different story.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why you don't fool with people at work. But the point is, sometimes it does happen. Even good coaches have situations where the owners have no choice but to cut them loose.
Yep. And shout out to my guy right here. Glenn Rivers has more excuses than the Pistons have losses. That is so true. That is so true. And actually, that's not all the breaking news that happened today. Randy, it looks like your former player, Pascal Siakam, is staying with the Indiana Pacers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Halliburton wanted him as part of the squad for their playoff run, and obviously we saw what happened. They came up short of making the NBA Finals, but put up a damn good fight along the way. And in doing so, I think Pascal showed them that he's a guy that they can definitely rely on. And rewarded him with his 4-year, $189.5 million contract.
Yeah, Nikki, your thoughts on his contract?
I mean, he deserved to be rewarded. He played a good role in that Pacers team. I mean, is this a little too much? Well, we'll know come free agency time when it comes to put their roster together. But hey, I'm on favor of Pascal Siakam getting paid. Hey, you worked hard, get that bread while you can. Now, is this the right move for the Pacers? We don't know right now. I don't know their cap situation. But yeah, I understand they want to keep a guy who was a key contributor in that role, and I don't blame them. Hey, keep your star players, bring back the core, try to make a run next year.
And Blaze?
You guys nailed it right on the head. This is something we We don't see as much as we used to in the past. This is pay per performance. He's come on. He helped lead them into the playoffs and do very well. He looked like a really good piece that fit well with that team. So why not lock him in? I mean, that's a smart move, in my opinion, to the Pacers to lock this guy in for the next few years. Like Nikki said, I'd like to compare his contract to some other players his age, and see if maybe in his numbers to see if maybe it is a little bit inflated. But hey, get the bag, get the money, like they say. And he definitely proved this year that he could be a valuable asset in a team that could compete for a championship.
You're muted.
I know, I was done.
No, me. I was
No,
muted.
Mitch.
Yeah, I was muted. But
I'm trying not to get a lot of background noise. Go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah. So for me, I think we all saw it happening because Pascal Siakam was he's that puzzle piece that the Pacers needed, and with Obi Toppin coming off the bench, that has actually really helped that power forward dynamic. And who knows if Obi Toppin's going to stay? Who knows? But I'm just saying, Pascal Siakam, a former All-Star or something, you have Halliburton, you got Pascal Siakam, you got Miles Turner, you got Obi Toppin off the bench, you got TJ McConnell off the bench, you got a lot
Nembhard.
of these players. Yep, and him too. I'm just saying, this
They're
Pacers
gonna
team.
have a healthy. They're gonna have a healthy Bennedict Mathurin next year too, so that'll help as well.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see where they're gonna go in the draft. Are they gonna trade the pick? I'm excited to see that going forward.
We have their first round pick from the trade with for Pascal. So.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
So
we picked.
What do you think you're doing with that pick?
Honestly, I think I hope it might be a guard, but we'll talk about that more when we get to that. But yeah.
Yeah. I was just curious there. Not sure about the Sixers, but a healthy Knicks team, even without Randall, could have taken the Celtics.
Ooh.
And that's a hot
Whoa.
topic there.
I don't
That's
know.
not a hot topic. That's a hot take.
Is that a Knicks fan?
When the coach came
No,
back,
he's the Sixers.
Oh,
He's
hey.
a Sixers
should
fan.
save that
Yeah.
for coach coming back because we would love to hear what the coach thought of that.
When the Knicks were hot, man, they could be just about anybody. So I mean, Celtics were pretty damn hot too, but the
Yeah.
Knicks were pretty good when they were clicking. The Knicks were doing very good, so they could compete with them. I think completely healthy is what the key is.
Yep. And actually, let's start talking about the finals. So the Boston Celtics won the NBA Finals. They're your NBA champions. They won in 5 games. Shout out to Blaze Radio. He said he had a feeling that it was going to end in 5. And what do you know? It ended in 5. And now he's going to
Hey.
go gloat.
No, I wanted 7 games. I wanted 7 games, but then I kept telling Mitch, I'm feeling 5. I'm feeling Celtics in 5 for some reason. And shout out to Joe Mazzulla, man, West Virginia guy. And if you haven't seen his post-game press conferences, go watch the highlights. They're hilarious. He likes to put the media in their place and give really funny answers. And he's a man of faith. And he wanted to thank God right off the bat instead of wearing a championship shirt and everything. He's a really good coach to handle all those guys, man. Big shout out to him for what he's done with that team. And we can give all the credit to Jaylen Brown, your MVP, and all the players and what they did and some of the moves they made. But shout out to Coach Mazzulla for what he did, holding that team together and leading them to a championship.
Yeah. Nikki, got anything about the Celtics? I know it hurts us, but
See, obviously, I mean, hey, they did what they needed to do. They were the better team. And here's something other teams can learn from them. Other teams need to learn how to build a roster the way Boston did. Because you look all around their roster. You had Brown, Tatum, then you had Porzingis added, good addition. He gets his redemption story. You had Drew Holiday there. Derek White, who's came on to his own. Al Horford, who was a veteran, but still a capable role player. Drew Holiday, who played his role well. And shout out to Drew Holiday on his second ring. He had the first one with Milwaukee a few years back. Now he's got a second. And who else? You got Sam Hauser, too. I mean, Boston knew how to build together a good team. And this is something other teams need to learn from. And I know that's easier said than done. It's easy for teams like Boston and the Lakers to get players in free agency. Now, the Lakers, specifically LeBron, could learn a lesson on how to build a team, but that's another point. It's beside the point. But, yeah, they could learn how to build a team. Like Denver last year, you saw. They had their guys. Bruce Brown was a contributor. Caldwell Pope, Aaron Gordon,
Hmm.
Jokic. You had depth. This is something teams need to do to build a championship team. You can't just have one or two good players, a decent third man option, and that's it. No, you need more than that. And you're not
That is
Yes,
true.
yes, Mitch. I promoted hardcore sports, not my own channel this time.
Hey, good for you.
Hey, I just wanted to
shirt.
I wanted to piggyback off something that Nikki was saying too. And we got to keep in mind, Boston was ranked number one preseason. They were preseason number one.
Yep.
So they made it all the way through the season and won the championship. So that says a lot. And they had 7 players that were in the title series when they played the Warriors and lost. So like I said a couple weeks ago, they were hungry. They were all there before. So I can't stand the Celtics either, but you got to give them props for what they did.
Right. All right. Rio, what is up, man? How you doing?
Hold on, guys.
We're
Sorry,
doing good.
I forgot what time it was.
No, you're all good, dude. You're all good. You know, we just talked about Monty Williams getting fired by the Pistons. So do you have any thoughts on that? Shocking?
Another shocking news: water is wet.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Rios. That's what I was saying too. When your team sucks, a lot of times the coaches takes the fall.
Look at the Lakers.
Yeah. The Lakers, yep, we can go on and on about that. And then Pascal Siakam got his contract extension with the Indiana Pacers. What do you think about that? 4 years, 106. How much was it? 4 years, something.
189 or something.
Yeah, 189. Yep.
A lot of money. Let's just say that. A lot of money.
189.5.
He's gonna have to earn it, but I mean, I think he's gonna be a key piece for them going forward. It's a young team, and they need a guy like him.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, I love Pascal Siakam. I hate going up against him, but I love Pascal Siakam's game. And then now we're talking about the NBA Finals. Give me your thoughts on the Celtics.
That's what I thought of the finals. It was boring. I was like,
Right.
after game, I was like, this is over. There's no way this goes past 5 games. And I was right. Went 5 games.
Yeah. Blake got it right too. He wanted to go to 7, but he called it in 5. So shout out to
Well, I
Blake.
mean, it's not surprising. I think we had mentioned a few episodes back, what kind of odds the Mavs would have. What would it take for the Mavericks to be NBA champions? I think I mentioned like it's going to come down to Luka and Kyrie's defense. If they put up on both sides of the ball, like they got a real shot of winning it all. But we saw Luka left and right, and it was game over at that point.
Hey, it's got to be said though. I did say that I got a feeling at about 5 after the first in the middle of the second game. So it's not like I predicted anything shocking. I just saw how good the Celtics were playing and thought, I keep thinking 5. I wanted 7 games. I wanted more basketball, but like Rio said, I know we're going to talk about it. It wasn't that exciting of a finals, but if you ask a Celtics fan, it's going to be exciting for them.
Of course, I mean,
Right.
Hats off to them. Congrats to them because hey, it's been about 16 years since they've won a championship. So it's a long drought for a storied franchise like that. So hey, kudos to them. But
Right.
Boston just has a deep team, and I think it's kind of marks the end of the super team era almost. Excuse me, because if you think about it, they don't really have like a true superstar. They got really good players, but no like true like superstar. Because I wouldn't call Jaylen Brown a superstar. I wouldn't call Tatum a superstar. They're really good. They're all stars, but not superstars.
And Tatum's marketed as one, but that's marketed.
Stars, but not elite. There's a difference. There's stars, there's all-stars, and then there's elite. So I'm with you on that, Rios. They're great players. They're stars, but I don't think they're on that elite top 10.
Mid 2000s.
Yeah.
They needed someone from that team to market as that guy, so they kind of went with the Ben Wallace as that guy they could market. In that role.
Yep. And then Randy, give me your thoughts on the finals, and then I'll give you my thoughts after.
I do want to say to Nikki's comment when he said that you got to build the team just like the Celtics did. They did kind of walk into stealing the Nets lunch money when they traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Nets, and they got all those first round picks, and then they were able to turn Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum around into the guys they are. But I do understand what you mean, though. But you got to hit on those draft picks. You got to make sure they turn into the stars that they became today. So as much as I don't want to give the Celtics their flowers, they got their flowers the other night there when they beat the Mavs. It sucks. It would have been nice to see Kyrie show up a little bit, but the Celtics ended up pulling it out and getting their 18th banner. now these kids that everybody was calling them choke artists now aren't choke artists anymore. They finally did it, and they did it in pretty devastating fashion, going 80-21 in the complete season and playoffs record, which is just unbelievable. Like, so shout out to like Blaze said to head coach Joe Mazzulla. He knows how to pull the right strings on everybody. He instilled the Lord. He's all about faith. And just congratulations to the Celtics, even though I hate your ass.
Yeah, and I have to take back what I said about the Celtics being the 49ers. I can't make that comparison now.
Nope.
So it's just like I can't make that comparison
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, they're the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
Well, if they win another chip or two in the coming
Yeah.
years, then they are the Chiefs.
Hey, does anybody here have $2? Some kid just asked me for $2. Anybody got $2 I can give him?
I got 69 cents.
I'm poor.
I got 69 cents if you want that.
Everyone thinks I'm filming the games because I'm pointing towards the court.
They're all
And
saying,
actually-
"Please, film us, let her get her big break in the public."
I like how my head is right on the basketball thing in the middle here. Look, now my bald head is part of the basketball.
Yeah, and actually to carry off what Nikki said, maybe we'll see the championships in a couple years. Do you guys think we're seeing a dynasty with Boston now? Like, in a couple years? Like, do you see them winning another ring or two? Even though I freaking hate it. Like, I can't stand it. But
I think
you
they
guys-
got really lucky this year with all the injuries that they faced on the way to the finals. I mean, they didn't face a healthy squad the entire time to the finals. So if they do it again next year, then maybe we can start saying dynasty. But right now, nah.
There's a lot of great teams out there. Look at the teams that stepped up, like the Mavs and the Pacers, and other teams that we didn't think would go as far. The Knicks. The West is still stacked. Look what we were saying with the Nuggets last year. They lost a couple pieces, but with everything they were bringing back, we were pretty much a lock, saying they were going to, run for it in the West, but they couldn't because there's a lot of talent in the West.
So the East is the weaker conference, so it's easier for Boston to push their way through the playoffs on the road to the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, considering, but I don't think any NBA playoff series is easy. But I know what you're saying because, we always talk about people get hurt, next man up. And they did the job. They did what they were supposed to do. Once again, this is coming from a Sixer fan that can't stand the Celtics, but I'm just being real. They the whole season, they did what they were supposed to do. Even losing Porzingis, they weathered that storm. They played through. A couple people stepped up like Derek White and other players that become not mega stars or stars, but just climbing the ladder a little better. So could they win it again next year if they keep most of their pieces? Maybe. I mean, they like I said, they did it all year. They were number one preseason, but there's so much parity in the NBA. How often do we talk about that anymore? There's so many teams that can make a run. So I love the parity, and I don't think you're going to see a dynasty anytime soon in the NBA, and I like that.
I love
I
it
could be-
too. I love it.
That's the thing. I was about to say there is no Chiefs in the NBA currently because we haven't had
Yeah.
back-to-back champions since the Warriors 17 and 18.
And shout out to our guy, Unpopular Opinion, F. Kyrie and the Celtics. Wish the series would have ended in a draw if that's ever possible. And then he goes, Boston one and done. That East was weak as people think. Knicks, Bucks, Sixers are all dealt with injuries. I'm starting to
that's
get tired of these. Like, part of the game. I'm getting tired of the injuries this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. I mean, that's going to be part of the reason people are going to say, but they still have to play the game. So
Yeah, you still got to go out there and win, but I mean, it makes it a little bit easier when you're not playing a fully healthy team too.
yeah, correct, definitely. But I don't want to take anything away from what the Celtics did.
We're going to use that as an excuse for him come playoff time. At some point, eventually, we got to look at Embiid to some extent.
But you got to plan as a coach, as a GM and stuff. Don't you think they're planning to try to get a little deeper team in case people don't? They see everything we're seeing, all these injuries. So if you're a coach, you're a GM. You got to have a solid backup. You got to have a third option instead of your top two scorers only. You got to build a team similar to the Nuggets and the Celtics the last 2 years. They're deep. They got a couple stars. They're not like, blowing teams away. They could have lost if everyone was healthy, but they did what they were supposed to do, and they're your champs.
Well, two things. Blaze, can you please tell that to Daryl Morey?
Good luck.
Hold on, let me call him.
Cool. While you're on hold, tell him to don't bring him back Tobias Harris. But either way, Randy, maybe you can answer this question. I don't know why.
It's a basketball show, but it's Sheldon Keefe got fired because he couldn't help the Leafs get past the first round. That's why.
I think one of the players said he wanted. No, I'm just kidding.
You think it was one of the players? That's why.
Yeah.
So,
Next.
We don't really follow,
so we're not seeing Boston as a dynasty now. We're not going to see them as a dynasty. You think?
No.
I mean, you can't write it off completely if they keep most of their pieces. They're a great team.
They're going to keep Al Horford too, but he's not going to retire, which is like
He should.
Jinx, you want me a Coke? Yeah. So Drew Holiday, a Hall of Famer. Is he on the road for a Hall of Famer? You got to look at. Let me bring up the stats. Let me bring up the.
I mean, he got a title when he signed with the Bucks. He got a title when he signed with the Celtics. So he's a great piece. He's a good leader, a floor general.
Harris, Sixer great.
I think he's
For the money?
I don't think he's really there yet.
Hall of Fame.
When I think of Hall of Fame, I want to think of I want all-time greats when I think of Hall of Fame. I'm not as easy to give someone a Hall of Fame nod.
I'm not either. But he's a 2-time NBA All-Star, 6-time All-NBA Defensive Team member. I mean,
that's good. But how many years has he played?
All-Star. How many
years?
What was it like? When did we draft him? Blaze?
2 All-Stars in 10 years. I mean, is that Hall of Fame? That's great, but that's not Hall of Fame.
No, I'm saying not yet. Maybe another ring would solidify. But Philly's lost. Yeah, I know that.
Steve Kerr has multiple rings, but is he a Hall of Famer? No.
Yeah.
He's gonna get there. I really have a feeling Steve Kerr's gonna get there.
You got to be an elite player to be Hall of Fame. Let's be real. You got to be an elite player to get Hall of Fame. To me,
he's been in the league 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years and 2 All-Stars. That's not.
Is a Hall of Famer.
I thought it was
to him. He was a good piece for the Bulls, but I don't think he was a Hall of Famer.
When was he drafted? Randy, when was he drafted?
You guys drafted him in 2009, 2010.
Hall of Fame should be an elite class, man. Like super stars, not just someone who has won a couple rings and made a couple All-Stars. No disrespect to Drew Holiday. He's a great player, not Hall of Fame.
Hall of very good, but not Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of very good. There you go, Rios. Well said.
Even Alonzo, Dwayne Wade, Dirk, those guys.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. The answer is no.
And so forth.
You know who's not a Hall of Famer? You know who's not?
Tobias Harris.
Robert. Well, that he will never sniff the floor. Robert
Sniff
Horry.
the floor. Pause.
You know what I meant. Robert Horry. Robert Horry.
Big Shot Bob. I mean, look at the titles he's got. He's got more titles than almost anybody that's in the NBA right now, but he was on a really good team, guys. So was Drew. Twice.
Yeah. The reason
Jason Kidd is a Hall of Famer.
It's starting to get back there now.
Yeah. So, anyways, besides that, was this a good finals?
No.
Everyone's going to say no. It wasn't no. If you're judging it on competitive games and exciting plays, there was some good stuff. But when someone wins 4-1, yeah, West Virginia. There you go, Gav. Gav's from West Virginia. He knows Missoula, down the mountaineer land.
Good shit. But
most of those ones are blowouts too. It's just never close.
Gav lives right down that way, about half an hour.
Damn. But was this a good? I wasn't really wanted to watch it. I really didn't. And everyone was picking the Mavs in 7.
Mavs in 8.
7. Yeah.
Mavs in 8.
Dallas is going to Dallas. What can I say? I knew they were going to lose.
They have the picture of Luka Doncic, but he has Dak Prescott's face now. He turned into Dak when they got to the final. Sounds funny.
I see that. That is hilarious.
That is funny. I mean, hating the Cowboys, I got to love that.
Yeah. So I gotta ask this. It's not on the docket, but Rios, how are you feeling right now that the Mavericks did not win the championship?
Ecstatic.
I gotta ask.
Before the finals, all we heard was Dallas wins Texas. So y'all, this baseball team has 1 World Series in their entire history. Then their hockey team loses. And now they're basketball teams. So yeah, Dallas don't really shit.
But they were ranked what, 5th in the West, right? Because they beat the 4th place team, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yes,
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
they were 5th. Yeah,
I think, and that no team is going to be happy to not win a championship, but you got to say it's kind of a successful playoffs for the Mavs to make it further than they were supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, they just didn't click when it meant the most. You know, the big guys didn't play well. Kyrie didn't show up, and the Celtics poured it on.
Kyrie only beat the Celtics one time in his career.
Props
Going
to
to
him, though,
playoff.
for going over, shaking all the Celtics' hands, giving them respect for when they won it. I'm not a big Kyrie fan off the court, but I do respect him for doing that.
The opposite.
I mean,
You know he was hearing a lot of shit from the fans. You know he was. Stuff we can't repeat probably on this podcast.
I mean, he was stepping on the Celtics or the center court. How many times?
Yeah, that's like when the Tennessee Titans stomped on the terrible towel. Yeah, don't fuck with the terrible towel, guys.
Yeah.
Someone wiped their ass with it, and next thing you know, they can't. Yeah, we'll talk about football in a couple months. Sorry.
Daniel was saying, of course, Daniel was saying it was rigged from the beginning. He's a Lakers
Daniel,
fan.
I thought you were a smart. I thought you were a smart sports fan, Daniel Barry. I lost respect. You fell down a notch. You could redeem yourself. That's a
Celtics
dumb
curse
comment.
was on Kyrie Irving.
No,
Yeah.
it was the in-season tournament. That was rigged.
Yeah, I like the in-season tournament. Now looking back, that was more exciting than the finals.
Yeah.
Looking
Now,
back,
actually,
Yeah,
we're gonna
in-season tournament.
Finals,
skip a
you know.
couple. What was that, Nikki? Couldn't hear you.
Yeah, but hey, the finals are always going to mean more. People
Yeah.
aren't gonna
Oh yeah, of
remember
course. I'm
the
just saying.
tournament. They're going to remember who won when it mattered most.
Yeah, but on the court play, even in the semifinals and in the finals, we got really competitive play in that midseason tournament. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Finals was boring and not competitive. Conference finals weren't either. Daniel loves doing this.
But that Minnesota Dallas series was dope though. That was a great series. Wasn't it Minnesota and Dallas? Yeah. That was the
Denver.
best series of the playoffs.
That was
Was it at Minnesota and Denver?
Denver.
It was Denver, right?
Was it Denver? I thought they played Dallas after Denver. I don't know. Where's the bracket?
But I don't know. Who cares?
But that's when Ant was on fire and Dallas put them in their place. I mean, I thought Minnesota would keep rolling, and I thought the
Yeah.
Nuggets would go further. So the West is a crapshoot, man. There's 8 good teams in the West.
Yeah. So best round was the second round. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Sixers were not in it.
Hey, it's a
No,
whole
I
new
can see
season. It's a whole new season. The playoffs is a whole new season.
Yeah. Well, before the whole new season, how are you guys feeling about the Olympics with Team USA? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm gonna go first here. I want to say right now, I think it's going to be competitive. I think back whenever the question in the Olympics was back in the 80s and 90s, how many points are the U.S. going to win by? Now it's will they medal? Canada has a great team. Argentina, all these other countries have NBA players and really good players. So, you know, it's going to be more competitive, and it's all up to can our best players from the U.S. play together. That's the key to me.
Nikki.
Well, hold on one second.
Okay. All right. Randy.
I think the Canadian men's team is going to be pretty good this year. I'm not going to talk about the U.S. because that's the team I'm cheering for, not the American team. So I think with Corey Joseph feeling the snub after being a long-time standing player for the Canadian men's team, it just shows you, like Blaze said, that the depth that we now have with the SGAs, the Jamal Murrays, the Nemharts, the Wiggins, you know, and the so on and so forth, the Lou Dorts and so on.
Who's the dork?
I'm excited for this.
Who's the dork?
Sorry,
Who's the dork?
I said Lou Dort.
Who's the
He's
dork?
kidding. And yeah, and I just found actually here's the roster for you guys. Yep, here's the
Yeah, that's a hell of a team, man.
Murray,
That's a pretty solid
Nemhart,
team.
Dort, RJ, Wiggins, Dylan Brooks. Hey, Rios, it's your guy, Dylan Brooks. Kelly Olynyk, Zach Edey.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
been part
yeah.
of the men's team for the past 2 years.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude.
wow.
Might be more
They always
successful
go
team
over.
than a U.S. Is there enough basketballs for the U.S. team?
And Nikhil Alexander Walker, we saw how well he did coming off the bench from Minnesota and how well he was able to lock people down. So we got some guys that we can lock you down with, and we can also score now. So just saying.
Yeah, I agree with Blaze right now. It's going to be a very competitive. Look at this roster that Canada has. I'm
Nice.
excited for it.
I mean,
Cops are
Shaden
here.
Sharp's not on that list. He could have been a Canadian that could have made it, but O'Shea Brissett, obviously, because he just won with the Celtics as well, so he's now a champion. So maybe they want to have some of that rub off on the guys as well. But
Yeah. So, Rios, how do you feel about this Olympics?
No, I agree with Blaze. That's going to be competitive, and I would not be surprised if the U.S. ends up, winning silver or even bronze. It's a
Yeah.
lot competitive now, and I don't know how the Team USA plays as a unit, because there's a lot of egos in that team, and I don't know if they can play as a unit.
Who's the coach
Right.
for the U.S.? Who's the coach?
Oh,
It's still
I know-
Coach K? Or did he retire?
it's not Coach K, isn't it? I got it.
See, I had to call in the police.
Right.
I had to call. I had to call in the police. Say the police are here now.
Oh, yeah? What'd you
It's
do?
for you, Mitch.
you told
called him
Mitch,
in
yeah,
for you,
okay,
Mitch.
good. You told him about Mitch, okay, good.
I got to get in the shade, man. It's hot. It's hot out here.
Oh, 20 years ago. in the Olympics,
It's Steve
we
Kerr.
learned-
It's
Yeah.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr. All right. Well, we'll see how he does managing those egos.
Yeah,
Good luck, brother.
So the
He's
last
not
time
used to
LeBron was
managing a bunch of egos.
they
at
won
once. He's
bronze.
used to having cohesive units. So
Yeah.
Had to bring Kobe to be the
How's
team
Steve
captain
Kerr
when
gonna
Kobe
adjust?
again. So we wouldn't be surprised if they don't play as a team and end up with the bronze again.
And at the same time, I agree with you completely, Rios. But at the same time, if they do click and they do find a way to do well and rotation and stuff, they could blow teams away because they have a lot of power on that team. But I they got to make it work. That's the number one key. Good job. Good luck, coaches.
KD.
And international ball
Yeah,
is fun.
I don't think you see LeBron play as much. Having getting ready for his 22nd season, it could be one of those things where he starts and plays a couple minutes, then maybe comes back later on a little more. I would love to see him take a back seat to some of the younger players that are on the team.
I would love that
Malcolm
too, but will his ego allow it? Probably.
We'll, but at the same time, you got to think he wants to play a couple more seasons. So does he want to risk playing 30 minutes in an Olympics every game if he doesn't have to? If they're up by 20 in the first half, he's sitting on the bench. If I was coaching, the old guys sit, the young guys play if we're winning because they have a good mix of old and young.
Yeah, you
I
got-
love it.
Like, is it Ant's first Olympics? Let's see what he can do in an Olympic game.
Like I think.
I remember what Carmelo used to. Remember how great Carmelo was in the Olympics? He was like the best
Yes.
player,
Yeah,
and he was like ranked 5th or 6th, but he was the best player on that team.
yeah. You got to wonder though with this team. Like, is this like because we saw in the 04 Olympics, NBA teams are not super team in the
True.
Olympics. They can be beaten.
Yep.
And it's like,
Can you be beat by Spain or a lesser of
Right.
a team just because they're more
In this
cohesive than the other squad?
if like
Me
the
too.
US
Me
goes
too,
against
MYG.
Me too.
Greece and they
We
decide
all
to
do.
take it lightly, Giannis could go off and have a field day.
Yeah.
And US could get upset.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week, like MYG was saying. I watched old videos of LeBron with the Heat and LeBron with the Cavs when they won. I was like, man, I used to like that LeBron. He's not the same anymore. And I mean, yeah, it's 22 years, but I think he takes a seat, back, maybe starts most of the games, but hopefully lets these kids get an opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
I want to see what SGA does up in Canada, man, because that's you got to arguably say he's the man up there now. Should be.
Should be. Yeah.
I mean, they got
Well,
a lot
yeah,
of talent,
he
but that should be the guy based on what he did this year. I would think he was
he's already
MVP candidate.
He's already been with Canada. We just medaled. If I do believe last summer we won bronze
That's
with
right.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And actually, you know who's also playing in the Olympics? Wemby.
Breakdancers. There's breakdancing in the Olympics this year.
There is.
What?
Breakdancing is an Olympic event this year. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I
shout out
just
to
missed.
Mac.
I just missed qualifiers. I almost made it.
Oh, shout out to Mac, the Giants fan. He's actually going to be live streaming all the Olympics. So
I
shout
did a
out to
blaze.
Mac.
I can do a blaze of Rooney. That's my
Oh, yeah?
breakdance move. Just like Booker too.
Have you ever seen the movie You Got Served?
Dude, I go back to Breaking and Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, brother.
So yes, you have.
That's great.
Yes, you
Well,
have.
here's something else to think about. In that previous thought, if U.S. is going against Greece or Slovenia, they're like, oh, we only got to worry about Giannis or Luka. And there are these other players on that team that the Team USA players know nothing about their game. That other player could have a surprise performance, and maybe Giannis or Luka decides to go off to prove something. That's just something Team USA needs to be careful for.
I'm sure they've done their research, but I'm sure they've done their research on the other players. But that is a good point. It's not always going to be Giannis or the main guy from the NBA. These other players, some of them, just like Luka, he played for so long that they start so much younger over there. Plus, they're more disciplined, better fundamentals. Like I could go on and on. So I just want it to be competitive, just like I said about the finals.
I do too. All right. NYZ has a question for us. Which player in the NBA draft do you think can be the next star in the league? Here, I was just about to get into this. There's no superstar in this league. They're all going to be high quality role players, which is still good. Still good, don't get me wrong. But there's not that high profile name like a Cooper Flag.
It's Dillingham. It's Dillingham, but it's not going to be for 3 or 4 years.
I know why, because he's on Kentucky.
He's also small, but I think he could be an Iverson-like player. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying I think he could be. He's a good shooter. He needs to improve his defense, but he's 19 years old. So I think it could be Dillingham. It could be. I mean, it could be Zach Edey, even though he projected to go later. It is. We've talked about how weak the draft is. There's no big names, but you never know. Look at Jaylen Brown and Tatum. We didn't think they were big names when they got drafted. Sixers and Lakers.
Maybe could be stars in a couple of years, but right away now I see the first 5 picks coming off being rotational pieces.
The more I see of that Zachary Rizachet or whatever, the other French guy, he looks pretty damn impressive.
I like his game. I also like Alex Sarr's game.
I heard that the UConn guy might go number 1 now. The UConn center might go number 1 to Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it. Think about the past when there's who the number 1 pick's going to be. You're pretty sure. This year it could be at 3 or 4 names now. I like that.
Clegg
and then,
yeah,
who?
Going number 1.
Yeah, who was that a couple years ago? Remember, they were all going to pick this one, Jabari Smith, right? He dropped down a couple of picks. I forget who went number 1 there. It was Banchero.
Yeah.
It was Banchero. Banchero went number 1 to Orlando. Yeah.
Hey, and I didn't like that pick at first, but I'm happy to be wrong. He's proved he's a star. It took him a couple years. Some of these kids are going to take a couple years. Let's face it. They're younger, plus they don't play 4 years anymore like they used to. Go ahead, my bad.
Right. No, you're good, dude. Speaking of the Magic, you know who they're linked to? Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson, yeah.
Klay Thomas.
Can you imagine?
Or Klay Thomas.
I like Klay Thomas.
Or I was mixing Cam Thomas and Klay Thompson together.
But yeah, Klay Thomas is a very good guy.
Clam Thompson.
Yeah. But can you imagine Klay Thompson in Orlando?
Because they need more guards, right, Mitch?
No, it's not just that. He's more of a mentor guy to all those young guards. And he can play the 3. Klay can play the 3.
Let's be real. We've never seen Klay in a number 1 role. He's always been second fiddle to Steph.
Would he be
now
the
I'm saying
number
Seth
1?
Curry. Now I'm mixing Seth Curry. Seth Rollins. But he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to be right next to Banchero, and they could say, like you said, a veteran that could help lead the team. So he has an opportunity to show it wasn't just the fact he was with Curry that he was good. So I get where he's at, wanting to try to go somewhere else at this point in his career for a little bit. I mean, the Warriors don't have a dynasty anymore. That shit's over. So why not, especially if he's going to get a shitload of money.
If I was Klay, just go to Orlando or Philly. We'll take you in Philly.
According to Mitch, if everyone went to the Sixers that Mitch has reported in this offseason, they'd have 69 players on their team this year.
That's my goal. That was my goal. That's my goal. But, hey, we do well. But go, Nikki.
I'm not a big fan of this draft class in terms of the quality because I did the mock drafts yesterday. I'm looking
Yeah.
at the talent. I'm seeing a lot of the comparisons. I'm like, the top comparisons I'm seeing are to guys like Grant Hill, those guys, which, I mean, Grant Hill is a good player, but I don't see any Shaq or Hakeem or, Allen Iverson or Steve Nash comparisons. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to role players.
I think it was like 6 or 7 foreign players, and we see that now and then, but we don't see those players enough to think, could this guy be a star? So you're right, Nikki.
Gordon Dragic, who was a solid role player in the NBA, but he was a bigger star overseas before he came over to the NBA. I mean, if you're looking in terms of overall quality of draft class, I think this is going to be one of the weaker ones. I mean, we've seen a few Seth Curry, Bruce Brown comparisons, which if you're a team looking for a bench piece, that's a nice guy to get there for a good role player. But if
there is a team, and I know Rios don't want to hear this, but there's a team that can make a big leap if they get really good with their 2 picks, and that's the Spurs. They got 2 in the top 10. If they get the right players, I mean, who knows? Topic, after he tore his ACL, they might get him at 9.
I have a hot take.
Yeah.
They're going to trade up and get Garland. They're going to try to get Darius Garland. Can you imagine that? I would not mind that.
Trade up or down?
Whatever it is. Whatever it is to get Darius Garland. I don't care. Just get Garland.
Just trade for him. I get it. All right.
Yeah. And Butterfly is a Spurs fan. So there you go, Butterfly. I really think you guys really did Darius Garland. I kept on saying for them to get Trae Young, but I don't think he's leaving now.
You don't think?
I don't think Trae Young is leaving. No, I think he's staying. Hey, Raf, how's it going? How's it going? Player comps are based on skill and not potential. Just saying. Yep. I agree with that. I agree
with your assessment.
I was gonna say that, you son of a bitch.
Plus, like we said, we don't have a very big highlight reel of 4 years of their highlights and seeing them grow, and or the overseas guys, we don't have a lot of film on them, so that's what's making it harder to judge what this draft is going to be like. I don't think it's ever going to be like a top 10 ever draft, but there could be some diamonds in the rough that we didn't think could be that good. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I like Dalton Connect.
Oh, I love Dalton Connect, and I also like Reed Shepard, who Arku thinks is going to the Rockets. You agree with that? Rios, yeah.
I think that's pretty much the consensus here. If they don't trade down, that's who they're going to get at number 3.
He's probably the guy I've seen the most, but I don't see him. I'm trying to be real because Jeff Shepard was one of my favorites back in the day too, and Reed's really good, but I don't know if he's a number 3 pick. Is he a starter? Is he a needle mover? I'm hoping he can be, but because he's a Kentucky boy, but I don't know. It's tough. He's a solid player.
Outside of the top 2, I mean, even the top 2 picks aren't really needle movers either. They're going to be coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that, and even the first, and back in the day, it was if you picked in the first round, you're going to end up being a starter if you're not already your first year. This year, like Rios just said, I think we are going to see a lot of role players, build your bench, get a good backup, stuff like that. And then if they develop down the line, they develop down the line. But we don't have enough information on these people right now.
I don't think there's any high expectations for them to be carry the franchise on their back. Franchise cornerstones. They're basically, help make the second unit better, and if you develop into a starter and all-star, great.
Think about it. Who are they talking about the most in the draft? Bronny James, someone who's probably going to go in second round just by the name. Actually, this is a court that Bronny James played on this court 5 years ago.
And there you go. But that is why the draft is actually 2 nights. I honestly feel like that's the main reason.
Because they'll get ratings on night 2 because they're wondering where Bronny's going to go. Yeah.
And then watch next year, it will be back to 1 night.
No, I think if they do good enough ratings.
31. Watch.
If that happens.
Well, I saw the report today, and I mean, it's just a report that now, after all this talk that, it's a package deal, they're saying it's not a package deal with LeBron and Bronny at all. Now, if it ends up being they're on the same team, they do, but I like that. I don't want a team to take it just because say they can get LeBron or just because he's on the Lakers, they take Bronny. It's a business, And I'm hoping Bronny ends up being a decent player. He's not going to be a perennial all-star now, but I'm hoping he's a good role player. He could be a Drew Holiday down the line someday. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or a Mario Chalmers or something like that,
I'm rooting for the kid. I really am.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
So-
going through all that pressure
Oh,
since you were probably 13, 12 years old, going through all that pressure every year? Are you going to be like your dad? Are you going to be as good as your dad? Are you going to go to the NBA? Where are you going to play
Actually-
college?
Before he was even born. Let's be honest. It was actually before he was even born.
As soon as they knew they were having a boy.
Right?
As soon as they knew it was a boy, it's like, hey, he's going to be in the NBA.
I mean, look
could-
at Michael Jordan. Look at his kids.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Magic
They didn't
Magic
pan out.
Johnson's kids. There's a bunch of kids that didn't pan out. Some that did.
yeah.
It is in their genes, so it is sometimes more likely, but it's not a gimme.
Yes, Butterfly.
But-
Everyone's live on their own respected channels. Bob Cunning. Yeah, I like him. He's a good
He's
guy.
he's
from Pitt,
rumored to
yeah.
go. Hey, Mitch, I saw him to the Sixers in a couple mocks.
I
in the
saw
first
that
round.
too. You know
I
who
wouldn't
else I
mind
saw? Jared McCain. I saw
Yeah,
Jared
he's a
McCain a
twitchy
lot.
guard.
Not a
Rob Dilley had
dookie.
a twitchy guard.
Not a dookie.
I know. I'm a Michigan fan. I don't want it.
I don't have a sound effect to do my dookie sound.
Well, there you go. There's a sound effect. Actually, speaking of
I'm right here.
free, his link is in the chat. His link is in the description. Butterfly. His link is in the description.
He's right there.
Melo's son can play ball. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's right
yeah,
there.
yeah. He's
right
no,
there.
not me. Don't point to me.
Oh yeah, I can't point over. It's like
Don't point.
Yeah, most kids can play. He just needs better judgment thinking Paul George is the GOAT. I'm like,
Ronnie's way too hyped. There's no way I waste a pick
Yeah.
for yeah. His
That's true.
brother, Bronny's brother Bryce, is better than Bronny. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, he's taller. He's a little bigger. I think he's going to get LeBron's height, and he can attack the basket really good. Bronny was a shooter. Bronny's a shooter.
Yeah. Bronny's a shooter and a playmaker. His goal was to be like a Derek White. That's what he his game after. That's who he.
And like I said, when he was at this park 5 years ago, I actually got to talk to him for a few minutes, and he was very level-headed. I mean, it was like the fame and stuff wasn't really bothering him, which kind of surprised me. He had about 24 girls around him, which, of course, but it was like, I think the kid's got a good level head on him. And to hear his one interview where he said, like, I don't expect to be my dad. I don't need to play with my dad. I want to be my own person. It was good to hear him say that. You know, whether he's coached to say that or not doesn't matter. He said it. There he is.
Yeah.
Butterfly.
Bronny's brother can play. Yep. And actually, free agency is a couple days after the NBA draft. So, what kind of players do you want on your rosters for your teams?
Monken Markkinen.
I know you.
Yeah, I was just, yep.
Nikki,
Role
you were gonna
players.
say that too?
I was gonna say Malik Monk is one of them role players that can play their role well, that add depth to our roster, that can help us in big games. Don't
Why do
need
I
to try to
feel?
go for another superstar? You need some role players.
I agree. Why do I feel like Monty Williams will end up in Cleveland? I just got that feeling. I
Oh,
don't know
God.
why. I just got that feeling.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where you're at, Blaze? He's at a park.
This is Grant Street Park. I used to run this park. They have a summer league with 50 teams in it, so I figured I'd come down here. We actually talked about the old court over there where Jerry West used to play from West Virginia, so I figured why not go on location when there's hundreds of kids here playing. This is the future here, the kids out in the park. So shout out, thanks for asking, Area MYG. This is Grant Street Park, baby. History here. I'm on
Yeah.
location. I feel like a real person in the media, Mitch.
Oh yeah. Oh, you feel like halftime.
No.
Yes, you do. You feel like halftime.
Ah,
you are
blame the
Pittsburgh
refs,
Ham-
fire the coaches, blame the refs.
Well, you're at Pittsburgh full time. So, Rios, who do you think your Rockets should go after?
I don't see them going after a big name because there's not really anyone big that they're pretty attainable for them. I think if anything, they probably trade Dylan Brooks and get some shooters in place.
Dylan Brooks?
I think they trade him and then you'll try to get some 3-point shooters in place. 'Cause that is one of the weaknesses, their 3-point shooting. They're not very good, so you need to get some shooters on the bench. But other
Yeah,
than that,
and
I just want it back with the young kids and build on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you have Sengun, you have I mean, who you got the Asar? Is it Asar or Amon Tom? Which one?
Amen Thompson.
Amen. I mean, he's going to be good. And who was that other guy? You said he's taking like a step back, but I feel like he's going to bounce back. And what is that guy's? It's going to bother me.
Jabari Smith.
Yeah, no. Was it him? I think it was. Let me look up the roster. I know there's one guy. It's got to be Blaze. Who you want the 76ers to get? That's from prime time.
Munkin Markkinen.
Is that all you want?
I think that would be enough. I mean, you got to pay Maxey, and you're going to have to pay Markkinen. You might be able to get Monk on not a gazillion million, but Markkinen's going to want a lot,
Jalen
and
Green.
rightfully so. Jalen Green.
It was Jalen Green.
I like
you think
Jalen.
he's going to take it? You think he's going to take like a step forward, a leap?
I think they should because there's been talks that the Rockets want to re-sign both of those, Sengun and Jalen Green. So hopefully, getting paid helps him, motivates him a little bit. Stepping, like he did in March. Because in March he was on fire. Then he came a little
Hey, they're
bit.
just being competitive.
Jalen's like, what, his third year? Jalen Green?
Going to his fourth year.
Fourth. Damien, here's your stupid comment of the day.
Yay! Damien's dumb comments. Damien's dumb comments. Damien's dumb comments. Damien's dumb comments.
I just
Yeah.
want Ben Simmons off my team.
Can he go? That's for Ben Simmons. There you go. Can he go
know what?
overseas and play or something?
You know what's
Please.
funny? There's something on. We're not sponsored by BetUS, but there's actually a bet on BetUS that Ben Simmons will retire before the season even starts.
Comeback player of the year.
Oh, God.
You're gonna say that every year, Blaze.
Until he retires or goes overseas. That's my reverse psychology.
Yeah.
He needs to go, I don't know where overseas, somewhere. Antarctica.
I could
somewhere.
Play with Dwight Howard. Where's he at? Like Taiwan or China or something?
Show Jalen Green the bag.
Pause.
That's
Show him
it.
what bag? The bag?
Not that
Hey, now.
bag. Not that bag. Nice shirt though. Nice shirt. Though.
It was easier for me if someone says, "Where are you podcasting to?" and I say, "Hardcore Sports Network." Look it up.
Yeah.
It's hot though because it's a freaking black shirt. I'm on fire.
Yeah. Appreciate the dedication and support.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go pass out now in a minute.
Oh God. With that being said, guys. All right. One last question for you guys, and then we can head out. Are you happy with like how your team, well, Sixers and Rockets, how your team played throughout the season? I know Rio's just like, make up your mind, Blade. But Rio,
Make up what mind? I didn't do that. I can't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
did.
I'm not on. I can't control it. I'm not on it.
that.
I'm on my
But,
phone. I have no control over the stream.
Anyways, Rios, how happy are you that your team took a progression? I mean, you're like, I did not expect that from your Rockets at all. I did not.
I didn't either.
What?
It was a good feeling. It was a step in the right direction after, basically 3 seasons of tanking. It's a good step in the right direction. Now they got to make the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. He should be happy. I mean, with Dylan Brooks and that contract he got, he actually played very well. I don't like that was a good move for
The only reason I
Rockets,
would-
man.
the only reason I would want him traded would just be because we have a lot of young guys, and I'd rather see him get
That's
Yeah.
the key to me. Their youth. The youth you guys got down there is very promising. That's, I think, is your key.
And then Blaze, make a 3-pointer for us.
Unfortunately, there's way too many kids on the park right now. Or fortunately, see this court's all full. Those two, there's games going on right now, so I can't. I'd make it anyway. So just like last week. Let's just pretend I made it. It was just a free throw, but it was a one-hander with the damn phone in my hand. So
backwards.
All right,
Yeah.
Kobe, I hear you.
Udoka can coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want a Rockets for Thunder playoff series.
That'd be a
And
good
then,
one.
yeah. And then Butterfly goes, are they having a festival there?
No, this is how it normally is for the games every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They got food trucks over there, and they got people all over the place. I love it. So I figured it'd be a nice location to show off some old school hoops outside.
We need to see an old school windmill dunk.
Hey, I did come in second place in a dunk competition in college. I do like to remind people that.
And nice rebound, Rockets. The Brooklyn Nets said you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Well,
You're welcome.
I gotta say this. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets for giving Boston Celtics a championship.
I'm going to be the only Sixer fan that says I was happy with this year. How about that for a hot take?
I'm happy.
Here's a couple reasons why. Yes, they didn't go as far as I wished in the playoffs. Yes, Embiid was hurt, but we got some really good young players. Maxey did what I wanted him to do and become a star. So now we have two legit stars, and I think we got some youth in some of those guys like Traquavion Smith and some other guys coming up that could be factors. So I mean, it depends on the moves that we have, but I'm not going to be one of those guys that said, "Oh, championship or bust," or how many injuries did we have in the middle of the season? I don't want to blame injuries, but it gave these young guys. Who's the other guy? The other young guy, Mitch, that you always praise.
Who?
I'm drawing a blank right now, and I can't look it up. I know Traquavion. No, young guy.
Ricky Council?
Yes, Ricky Council, I think, has a lot of promise too. So that's promising going forward to have two guys come up and show they can play NBA ball. And we didn't make the playoffs. Keep that in mind.
What?
Every team doesn't.
Hold
So
on.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Hey, I'm just going to be hopeful. That's what a fan should do. You should be hopeful for your team. I think we make a couple good moves. We can be championship contenders healthy next year. Amen.
I'm right there with you. All right. So, Nikki, are you happy how this season went for the Sixers?
I should have let you go first, Nikki.
Similar grounds we've been on for a while now. Looking to take that next step, and it didn't happen. I mean, we did get a few. We did get Maxey was nice. What's the word? It was a nice gem to see Maxey step up. Kelly Oubre Jr. was a bit of a gem. Cameron Payne a little bit, but outside of that, what did we really do that was special? You know what I mean?
Here's what I see from me. This is what I see, right? Just seeing the role players step up. Like, I didn't think Kelly Oubre, I agree with you there. I didn't see Nico Batum, he was doing all the small things that no one talks about. Like the IQ, the playmaking and all that. No one talks about that. And then I could go on and on about the whole bench or whatever. But I'm just happy that my team actually did something. Like,
and the cap space, Mitch, you talk about the cap space we got all the time. If we didn't have that, we might not be able to lock in Maxey. We might not be able to go get a good, a decent name free agent or two. So, I mean, that's promising. Not every team has, $65 million to play with.
Why couldn't they just have 69 mil? Why does it have to be 65 mil? But
just for you, Mitch. Just for you.
Just for him.
but,
Just to make you mad.
Yeah. And then Joel Embiid is eligible for an extension again. Like,
maybe someone will retire. Maybe someone that's making $4 million will retire, and then you'll get your wish. We'll have 69 million.
Who?
I don't know.
Nico Batum? We need a good bench. Yep. All right. With that being said, guys, that concludes episode 76 of the Pick and Roll podcast. Shout out to Nikki Steeds, Blaze Radio, and Rios from the Just Fans podcast. Shout out to Next Shift Randy. Shout out to everybody, man, in the Hardcore Sports Network. We are now on we are on Spotify right now.
Naked Nikki. It's a naked Nikki.
I'm not gonna put it on Spotify now.
No, tell them if you're listening. if you're listening to this on Spotify, go to YouTube and watch it. You gotta want to see this. Because of my background, the kids. That's why you want to see it. You want to see people playing basketball.
Whoa, okay.
You want to see kids playing basketball, not that.
I said some comments you missed.
Thank you,
All right.
Butterfly. You're awesome, Butterfly.
Paul George admits players talk that James Harden could affect the Sixers chase. The Philadelphia 76ers formed a reunion with Tony Bradley. I did see that, along with Sam Decker and like this other guy. School's out for the summer. There you go.
Hey, Sam Decker was a badass in college. Wisconsin, man.
I loved it. Was him and Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah, they were lights
good.
out. Lights
And then
out.
Butterfly goes, "Woohoo, Nikki!"
Boing, boing.
And
Oh,
then
God. Here we go. With
Primetime
the...
goes, 69 crumble cookies for Tobias Harris. Going to the mission.
When Mitch ends up in jail for doing prank calls, you guys will know why. Blame Tobias.
Yeah. I will be like, excuse me, sir. Tobias Harris is playing terrible for my Sixers. Can I go? Well, certainly. There you go. Yep. All right, guys. With that being said, make sure you hit that like, subscribe to all of our channels. Check us out on Spotify, the Hardcore Sports Network podcast. That being said, we'll catch y'all later, and peace.
Where's my brownies?